You have done this?
Well, I'm trying to.
You're trying to. I want to save you the trouble. For truth, don't be a scholar. You have to be a saint or a jnani, you see. It has to combust. You have to be set on fire. You have to burn up. You have to be consumed in the power of the fire of life. You have to do it. Almost you have to become ashes again, to raise up from this. Because the mind is full of a lot of noise, but the heart is total silence, you see. And noise you don't need, you see. Noise you don't need. Words even you may not need. It depends what is your destiny. You may become a sage who doesn't speak. Or you may become a sage who can't stop speaking. But whichever way it is, your presence will be a blessing in this world somehow. So don't plan your route, because the mind will be there somehow and its ways are not reliable. More come, offer yourself up to existence and say, rid me of ego and absorb me in you. Then you're in a much more true power that will steer you in the right way, will burn what needs to be burned, educate what needs to educate, set free what needs to set free. But don't let that be somehow, let your mind be behind that too much. Otherwise you'll go only so far and you cannot go further. And knowledge of the studying kind does not necessarily lead to wisdom. They say even kings and great pundits and emperors bow down at the feet of an illiterate sage even, meaning one who hasn't studied, hasn't done anything. But his power of realization is such that even the kings, that they are compelled, and the king doesn't bow to anybody except God, if he's a godly king. But he will bow at the feet of the illiterate sage, meaning the one who is not learned in that scholarly way, but who has transcended and conquered life through wisdom and insight.
Yes, actually, just there, it's my question, because
yes,
both paths will eventually lead, right?
Both paths what?
Both paths can lead to happiness,
yes,
not suffering, truth.
Okay, let's say like, for now, yeah.
Like wisdom, through reflecting, meditating, studying, and doing nothing, as you just said about this sage. So,
wisdom does not necessarily go through the path of meditation and all of that even. Wisdom may realize, I don't need any of that path. It may just get it. You see, many of you come here, maybe you don't have background of spiritual training and discipline, but you may just recognize the point. Maybe some people have very strong intention, no, I must go and study the Vedas, I must go and do this, I must go and sit in a cave, I must do these things. Then if you have strong thing, then you have to, you're compelled to follow your projections to some extent. But someone may come innocently, you see. There are people in the days when I was sitting at the feet of my master. Someone is traveling through to Delhi and the train stops in Lucknow. This is a true story. A young man gets off and they said the train is not going any further for today. Oh, what is this place? It's called Lucknow. Oh, is anything interesting to see here? Then one station master said, there is one saint who lives here. Saint, really? What is his name? They called him Papaji. His name is Punjaji. How can I go? Oh, you can get rickshaw, ask for Indian Agar. If you get there, ask anyone for Papaji, Satsang Bhavan. Okay, all right. Went taxi. You know this place? Yeah, come. Come to Satsang, happens to be on time, enters the hall, sits down in front of the master, drinking the master's words down like that, and combusts into complete emptiness. And others are sitting and, well, but I've been here for 3 years. I have not. What is going on there? What is going on there? It's not always like that, but it can be like that. Why? Because you are that. My attitude, I cannot get out of it somehow. Because it is said, out of millions of beings, only a rare one is finding the truth. I say, I can't accept it. Because all are that. And this is not my belief. I see this. All here is only the self. There's only the self. Having a conviction it is something else other than itself, then that has to be removed. Do you need to go on the mountain for that? Do you need to sit naked in a cave for that? Maybe, I don't know. But you're here and I'm sharing this with you. You are that. It's not enough that I say this. In some cases, for some few people, their heart longs only to be reminded that there is a perfection here. I am not paying you a compliment to tell you that you are free and that you are the pure being. It's my joy to remind you of what you appear to have forgotten, or what you believe you have separated yourself from. But I want to demonstrate to you, with your help, who you are, to show you, so that you may cease from sorrow and come to your full joy again. I said the truth is simple, but the seeker of truth is complex and has to get out of its own way. Some of you have been immersing yourself in the energy field of Satsang. This is already the grace. And how you will come to know, I don't know, I don't need to know. Just as you are here, big clumps of delusions are falling away from you. Don't abandon your search. The mind is here, Mr. Mind is here also. And at any opportunity to distract you, to keep your attention only upon your physical existence, it will do that. It's its role that it has to play. But you will use the very weakness, the deceitfulness of the mind, you will use it actually to empower your seeing, to strengthen your discernment and to come home. Because you will be tested on the way, and the testing on the way is important and necessary and good. Because some tensions need to be in life so that consciousness can aspire and transcend its own projections. So don't count any failure as anything so great. They're small compared to, for maybe, for lifetimes we are drifting. Lifetimes we are drifting in the ocean of existence, samsara, what you want to call. This life can be for freedom like that. And for thousands of years, people are coming to places like here in Rishikesh, at the feet of Ganga, in search of truth. Many came and were satisfied with what they found. And all these beings, they've moved on into other realms or have returned to continue their journey. And now it's our turn. We're the fresh wave of mankind. It's our turn to have a go. To not be casualties of time. and of the flickering tendencies of the mind. The Buddha, the Christ, the Shivas of this world is in you also. So it's just an undressing of this garment of so many concepts, so much beliefs, to be naked again. So don't delay. So many things seem to be functioning as distractions. They are not distractions. There's nothing called a distraction. It's just that we are distracted by them because you have given too much value to what is transient. But you're here now and find it now. Why? Because you can. And sometimes there's a compelling force in the universe that's driving inside you to complete this journey, to fully enter and be in yourself. Don't purchase the promises of the mind about next week and next year, because this is here now. And I have not put in front of you 20 steps to, always pointing directly to what you can see and feel. You may not be able to see it phenomenally, but nevertheless you're aware of the presence of that. It has no shape, it has no name, it has no form. It is not bound by time. Everything else, time has said to you, belongs to me. Time says, all this that you see belong to me. I consume all of this thing. But your pure self I cannot consume. Then the rest is up to you to look and to confirm, not to create. You cannot create the self. You can create versions, duplicates, imitations of, but you cannot create your pure self because it is uncreated, the pure being. The power is here inside you. But if you keep using your head, you will miss it. You will not know it. Your mind wants to understand it, but it cannot understand this. It can only fall in love with it. So here, what is being pointed is the direct path. If you even want to call it a path without distance. Treat this like the last satsang. If this was your last satsang, where are you inside your own being? Waiting for next? There is something here which is not next. It has never been next, and it will never be next. Next is time. Next will pass. Find that thing which cannot pass. It is here. In the room of your own heart, it is here. Don't ask me how. I can tell you, leave everything that seems outside. Everything that comes and goes, let it come and go. It is not that. Find that which does not come and go. Be there. That's all. Just as you are sitting here, wherever you find yourself, you're like an open space. Be aware of that now. All your senses are here. The sounds coming in from outside, the temperature of this room, the weight of this body, the sense of inner space, outer space, silence, even thought. All this is just a dance in front of you. None of it is stable. Everything is floating by like clouds in the infinite expanse. Hold on to nothing here. Let it simply swim by. This is natural for you. All objects you can see, but yourself you cannot see. You cannot look at yourself. You can only look out from yourself. Yourself is not an object, but it shines in this world as the feeling I, which is inside this body. And so this I becomes your name. This I is not merely a person, it is pure presence. It's not limited to the character or definitions of this body. It is more subtle than thought, because thought is perceived in it. It is not merely emotions or sensations. They come also in it and are perceived in it. It is not time. It is not change. This is not something that you need to do. You only need to be aware of. And in doing this, in seeing this, there is a contentment right where you are. A space, yet a stillness is there. It has always been like that. It's always the stillness is here. But our attention goes towards the movements of the mind, and they seem to eclipse your intuitive recognition of your own imageless self. If for 1 second, let's remove all words from the world and all thoughts. Imagine so. We've come to the end of words, the end of thoughts. Still you're here. Still you're here. What will you do next? Well, you will just come to see. Do not try to hold life to your mind's agendas. Accept playfully. Let your life be a moment-by-moment discovering. Do not strangle life with plans, so that your being now can be open and you can let life show you its own mysteries and beauty. Then your mind and heart will not cultivate fear like that. So move about as dictated by your own conscience or heart or mind, but simply avoid defining or identifying with the phenomena that arises in you, and you will see all is well like that. Okay. Om.